Hey, yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Imprecisely. I am Jordan Valenzuela, and I'm joined by a special guest, homie of mine, my brother in this
Hey,
hip hop thing.
yes,
What's up, James? How
indeed.
you doing, sir?
What's good? What's good? Doing good. Doing this Texas thing, and yeah, thanks for having me on. For real, I appreciate it.
No, yeah, hey, pleasure's all mine, bro. Thank you for taking the time and doing this with me. I appreciate it a lot, bro. So just for people who don't know, um,
Mhm.
we met up on some. We actually haven't met in person. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, I was gonna say I
it,
was thinking about that.
it
Yeah,
be
we
it
have
be like that sometimes. Like even
for
bombs,
real.
I met bombs it in person anyway.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, low key. He was on the island one time when I was there. I think like when I first moved there. But yeah, I still haven't met him in person either.
Yeah,
That's
it's
wild.
crazy. But yeah, so for people who don't know, we met because when you were living here, we were one of the MCs that was like dope that stuck out to me. So I reached out, dude. I honestly forgot how I came across your music. I think I was just on some binge of some like local talent, and then
Mhm.
I just stumbled across some of your stuff, and I was like, yo, this guy's dope. So I reached out, and then we did a song for like a few years back
Yep.
that people still like
Yeah,
talk to me about, and like I checked the other day, I got it. I was like,
that's
yo,
cool.
I listened to it again. I was like, oh, you were Jet Jones at the time.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
remember. Yeah,
yeah,
man, that's crazy. Yeah.
yeah. So real quick before we get into all that, what why'd you first of all why'd you move to Hawaii and then why'd you move to Texas?
All right, so back when I moved to Hawaii, I was still with my family, and we were in Mississippi like 2 years before that. And
Hmm.
my dad, he was Air Force, so like
Okay.
we were getting stationed around from like we went from Italy to Mississippi, and we
Oh,
knew we were either going to New Mexico or Hawaii. And then New Mexico was cool, but like me and my brother were secretly hoping like, nah, we want to go out to here to Hawaii, go to the
yeah.
islands. So yeah, that's what happened. So my dad, he got stationed out there, and then when we moved out there, he actually retired maybe I think a year into it. So that's why like I was able to stay there for like 13 years. Or me and my family stayed there for 13 years.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what brought me out there. I think we first moved base on Hickam. We were only there for like a couple months, and then we moved to Makakilo. That's I
Hmm.
went to Makakilo middle school for about half a semester, and then all the way through high school went to Kapolei.
Hey,
I mean Kapolei
Hurricanes.
Middle School. Yeah, yeah, Hurricanes,
What's
oh
up,
nine,
bro?
yeah. So yeah, I went there. I did some college out there. I did a little bit. I just went to Lehman for a little bit, took a few
Hmm.
classes. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much what got me out there. Just my dad, he got stationed, and then that's the place like I lived the longest too. So that's
Oh
the
yeah,
place like I'm most familiar with, So yeah,
that's
I
like
definitely
that's home.
miss it, and I got love for it. Yeah,
Nice. So that always be like home, home.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's like I tell anybody like out of all the different places I live, like easily that's home. Like that's number
Right.
one. Like that's the place like when I can, I want to visit like as soon as I can.
Yeah, but we gotta chop it up when you get back. Yeah, let me know. Then we grab some
For
lunch or something. We
real.
do this again. Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Like when I
Okay.
get back, yeah, I plan to just link up. Yeah, let's
Yeah,
make
for
it
sure, man.
some.
Oh, okay, so that's what I didn't know. So it is because you're a military child, you and your
Yeah,
family. Oh, okay. Is that
yeah.
why you're in Texas now?
Nah, so like what happened was what was it? My mom she had like a job offer to go to the East Coast. That's where my dad's side is from, on DC.
Hmm.
And so they already knew they're gonna go there. My brother, he went to Colorado with his girlfriend. He's still over there right now in Denver.
Okay.
And then I was still out there. So I kind of like I could have stayed. I was jumping, third wheel of my brother and his girlfriend. So I knew I wasn't going to Colorado. Like,
Yeah,
nah. So
yeah,
and then like because I have friends there in Hawaii that were like, you can stay here with us, until you get on your feet,
yeah.
it's
Hmm.
no big deal. I kind of like it's not like I wanted to get off the island, but I felt like it was time for like a change of scenery. So like
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
I kind of do something different. And then my sister, my older sister, she lives out here, but she's not here right now. And she was like, yeah, you could stay with me for a little bit so you get your
Hmm.
feet set. So when I first came out here, I stayed with her and my niece for a little bit, and now I just moved out to my own apartment. So yeah,
Nice.
it's pretty much like a new thing to me in San Antonio. So like I like it though.
Hey,
It was different. Yeah,
yeah, cool. Hey, congratulations, man. That's awesome to hear.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. It was a big move. It was a big move for sure.
What do you miss the most about Hawaii?
Where to start? Like, when I tell people like how good Hawaii is, I tell them like, don't get me wrong. Like, I like Texas too, but like, I mean, for one, Hawaii. I mean, honestly, like as soon as you land, like one thing I noticed, the vibe is just different. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
so relaxed over there. And
100%.
I tell everybody, the water is as blue as you see in the pictures. Like, it really, it looks like that. We
No
see that
filter,
every
nothing.
day. Yeah, like so I like the relaxing vibe, the people there. Like for me personally, I mean, I know everybody has different experiences, but I never really had a bad experience, as far as just being out in Hawaii, just being in the mix. And I tell people like that's one thing I like about it. It's literally a melting pot. I tried foods I probably never would have ate if I didn't move out there. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had dumplings, sushi. The reason I eat so much rice now is because like over there, rice is
It's a
serious.
staple. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, just for me, like I mean, the first thing probably is the overall vibe. But other than that, it's just the scenery, the people, just the things to do. Even when there ain't nothing to do, you can just go and chill by the beach, and you still good.
Right. No, that's dope, dude. Yeah, I met our song that we did was back in it's called in the 808, and it's just like I hit this
Yeah,
dude. I hit you because I when I found out about you, one of the first songs I heard you were like, I forgot what you're talking about, but you're on some like repping over here type of stuff.
yeah,
So I was like, oh, perfect. I just stumbled across this beat recently, and then I just hit you up, and that was that. And then
yeah.
that was one of my favorite songs I ever did, just because like it was like one of the songs that I intentionally was trying to like, whoever hears this, wherever they're from, they're gonna know like where I'm from. You know what I'm saying?
I like
So
yeah.
yeah. So thank you for doing that, man. It's been another collab has been way overdue. I feel like so.
Oh, big time, yeah, big time. Like that's one thing I've been wanting to focus on the closest month out too. Is just like collabing, just
Mhm.
getting back on my collabs. I've been kind of caught up doing my I had to build my solo catalog back up.
Mhm.
Well, not had to. Just something I felt like I had to
Right,
do.
right, right.
But
You need
now
those.
like I got yeah. So now I'm in this mode now. Like I'm just ready to like okay, let's collaborate. Let me reach out. And just
Yeah.
make good music and
Yeah, and it's always good just to network with people because I was
everything.
talking about this with moms the other time. Like there's just because hip hop's such an umbrella, or music in general, right? There's a lot of different subcategories or different branches, and then we just feel like the world needs to hear every kind of sound. The world needs to hear every type of story, every type of vibe, every type of perspective. Just so like because there's
Yeah,
someone out there that'll gravitate to something. So it's like
yeah,
the when you network together and then you bring your own personal excuse me, you bring your own personal like life and your skill set, and then you mesh it with someone else's. It just makes for an overall like better product. You know what I'm saying?
it does. No, that's a good point too. Like, that was something my dad used to teach me too. Like, when I first started doing music, he was like, "Don't be afraid to make like the kind of music you want to make, because there's literally a crowd for everything. Or if there isn't one yet, you'll make one." So like he said, yeah, just whatever you feel like making, just make that type of music because there'll be a crowd for it. So like that's cool that you say that. That's another dope thing about collabs too. Either you introduce people to somebody that they really like that they probably wouldn't never heard of.
Hmm.
Like, okay, so they start checking out his music or her music and vice versa. So like, nah, that's a good thing about collabs too. It's more, I know sometimes some people get focused more on the business side, but for me, it's more like it's cool to collab, just like to mix things
Yeah,
together and see how other people do it. I haven't done a lot recently, but like I like doing collabs. Like don't get me wrong,
hmm.
because I like hearing people's verses when they send them to me low key. Like, cause I
Yeah,
just like hearing what are they gonna talk about on there, like how they're gonna approach it. Like I always
right.
think that part is lit, just hearing that for the first time.
There's an excitement when you're waiting for something and then they hit you like, oh bro, check your email. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, I swear,
It's
yeah,
like a
especially with
kid at
music
Christmas. It's
artists.
just like
Yeah. Yo, I click so fast. If I'm on my phone, I pull it up real quick.
me
Like
too. I don't
that's
care where
true.
I'm at, bro. I don't care where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like if I'm in school, I just like under the desk, like
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, you're out in public. You don't have headphones. He's kind of like, yeah, like you're on
yeah,
the phone. You're sort of like real close to you. You're like, no, that's how it is. You get that little
yeah,
notification, especially if it's like a song, like y'all are both waiting on. Y'all, there's something, maybe the scheduling was off or something, but you finally get that verse. Like, okay, let's go.
yeah.
So we ready.
Like collabs are important too because it's like what you said, like if there's how everybody has like a preference. So for example, if you don't know about this person yet, and then this person introduces you to them, and now you become a fan of them, or like
Yeah.
you're waiting to hear some specific type of sound and you haven't like exactly found it yet or come across it yet.
Mhm.
You hear it through other people. So like when people collab, like they're kind of exchanging audiences. You know what I'm saying? And like
Yeah.
the overall like just networking because that's what music does, right? It brings people together.
Mhm.
So I feel like that's super important. Like I've heard of like for me personally, like that happened to me. Like I
Yeah.
didn't know who like Joyner Lucas. I'm like a huge Joyner Lucas fan
Yeah.
now.
All right, he's dope. Yeah.
Yeah, and like everything about him as an MC, as an artist. is like so dope to me. And I heard him because he collabed with Tech Nine. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yo, who is this kid? And next thing you know, I'm on like this Joyner Lucas rabbit hole like until 4 a.m. just like nonstop.
Yeah. So that's a good
Yeah.
point. Like, yeah, I actually
That
didn't
ever
think
happened to
about
you?
that because, yeah, I'm trying to think of this artist that comes to mind. But even you just saying that, like, so I know there's some artists that, yeah, you'll listen to like artists you usually listen to, and you hear like somebody's voice or somebody's verse, and like, yo, who's this? And
Yeah.
you look at the phone, see featuring so and so, and then you just start looking up all their music. I'm trying to see if I can try to see if I can think of somebody. I don't know if I can think of someone off top, but I know for sure though. I definitely have found a lot of artists
Yeah.
like that just by features and just like, oh, this is dope. Let me
Mhm.
see like what they got on. Usually I go like to YouTube first, and then
Mhm.
Apple, SoundCloud. But yeah, that's a good way. That's a good point. Like just hearing something different makes you want to look it up just to
Yeah.
see who it is.
Or if it's not a
Yeah,
collab, it's like if somebody signs somebody, like what you said, like because obviously that means I
mm.
listen to Tech Nine, and like back in the day, I haven't heard him in a minute, but I like Ti is one of my all time favorites. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
for,
yeah,
for
yeah,
many
same.
reasons. So like back in I want to say like 2010 ish around there, when I first heard B.O.B. and stuff, I was like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
I hopped on the B.O.B. train too, because like dude could rap,
Yeah,
sing, he plays instruments, his flow is
yeah,
different. I was like, so yeah, that happens a lot. So I'm always like steady, like rocking with just my favorites, and then I always randomly come across people and like I become a fan of all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? Like Yellow Wolf with Eminem, that was another one. I was like,
yeah.
who's Yellow Wolf?
Mm-hmm.
Alabama dude, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, yo, this guy's dope. So
Yeah, and you end up listening to somebody like, okay, wait a second, like,
yeah,
and then and it's cool. You just find like this whole new artist, like a whole
e-
catalog. You just
exactly.
go through the songs, like you
Hmm.
said, binge listening. You just go through
Yeah.
everything.
Hey, I want to ask, dude, because I've done it personally. Uh,
Mhm.
I used to go by just JV, my initials, because I and then
Mhm.
I just changed it recently. Like, I just go by Jordan V because I just for me like what I didn't really want a stage name. I didn't really care for it. And then I kind of took that
Yeah,
J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar route where it's like, this music is my product. This is my story. This is my life. I want it. I want my name on it. And like, this is
yeah,
who I am. This is my identity. This is what I went through. This is my opinion on it, my perspective on it, my experience from it. So I don't necessarily want a stage name. I just want it to be me. So
yeah.
well, like what I was saying earlier when we collabed, and then you're at the time, like my name was, I went by JV, you went by Jet Jones, and then now you go
Mhm.
by, I think it was Wavy Jason at one point, and now
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
Jason with a
yeah,
dollar
yeah.
sign. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
Yep.
like what to you, first of all, like why did you change your name, and then like what do you feel like is the significance? Because if to me it's like growth, because that's who I identified as, that's
Yeah.
who I identified as at that point in time. That's who I thought I was. And then maybe like I went through life and then experienced stuff, and then I decided, oh, I'm gonna go by this and stuff. So why did you change your name, and what do you feel like stage names or your name like means as an artist?
That's dope. Yeah, actually kind of similar to what you said. Like, yeah, big time like growth is like a biggest part. Cause I do kind of the same reason I switched from going by Jet, which is it's kind of funny too, because like a majority of my friends, back in Hawaii, like even at my job, they will call me Jet. So like even if I
Yeah.
go back there now, they probably won't call me Jason. They'll probably call me Jet because they're so used to seeing it. But yeah, for me it was kind of I can't remember exactly when I switched, but I may have been low key when I first came to Texas. But yeah, it's kind of just like a growth stage, and like kind of like how you said, I want my name to be associated with it. And
Mhm.
I was like, even growing up, like I remember in high school, teachers would always joke like how my name just rings together anyway. So like, you know what? Let me just go with Jason. Or like I was thinking about Jason Jones, or that's kind of long. Let me just do Jason or Wavy Jason. Depending on like the vibe I was going for, things like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, more so it's kind of just me. So like people to see my name is associated with it. Like this is me. Like I grown to a point where I mean, countless years of just studying music. Like the Jet Jones years, it was a lot of YouTube watching, like videos, lectures. Like if I wasn't recording, like honestly, like I tell people, like I mean, every artist, like all of us, like they don't know, they don't see all the hours we really put in.
Yeah.
They'll just see the songs we put out. Sometimes you may do behind the scenes and stuff, but like
Mhm.
those years, I was learning a lot. I mean, we're always learning. I'm still learning, but like those years, it was a lot of like, I was rough around the edges on a lot of things. I mean, my heart was still there, the passion is still there. The music, I mean, I like the music. I'm still proud of what I put out. Just like as
Mhm.
far as me growing and learning,
Mhm.
like there's a point where I knew like, okay, Jet had, he had his run, time for me to, switch it to Jason. And then like after that, I noticed my music. it changed. Not more so like the style, just like it's just like a feeling, you know, when you just like feel like this is what you're supposed to do, like this is the name I'm supposed to, you know, this is how I'm supposed to be rocking. So like, yeah, it's pretty much, you know, kind of what you were saying too, to sum it up, just like you want your name attached with it in a certain way, you know, and like Jet was cool. Yeah, I just wanted to know like this is Jason too, like this is me, this is a real person, but I'm also an artist. Yeah. So that's a good point. So that's I was kind of the same mind state with that one too.
Yeah, because I know like because like I'm a hip hop nerd too. Like I know like it was K Dot and then Kendrick Lamar, and then like, I know J Cole. He said I remember an interview he used to go by like Trailblazer back in like middle school or something like that.
Yeah, he had like some crazy name. Yeah, I remember that. Like so you were never expecting to have a nickname. Yeah.
And then Jermaine Cole's just too long and stuff. So it was like yeah, you just for me it's like what you said, like it's this is the real me, this is the true me. So I might as well give you my real name too. So it's like like what I was saying earlier, like you're proud of what you're putting out and it's brutally honest and it's all you. So it's just you know what I'm saying? Like why would you want to like hide your name or whatever? You know? Not that you're hiding it, but it's just like you want to truly express yourself through your music. So so with that, like I want to ask, like, do you feel like Jet Jones or whatever other names you went by, those were old versions of yourself? Like those are old identities and then you're a totally new person now and you don't identify with that past person anymore?
Wow, that's a good question. So like, I would say overall, it was a part of the growth process, but I associate with it because I mean it got me like a lot of those years are like building blocks for what I learned or you know what got me here. But I would say like ultimately the best part about it was the biggest change honestly I've been thinking is this confidence. I was still confident back then, but sometimes it was maybe a false confidence. It wasn't like egotistic, but it just wasn't, you know, like especially when you're an artist, it's almost like when you very first record a song. I mean, there are some people that got it from day one, but like when you first record a song and you think your voice is gonna sound a certain way on it, but it doesn't. So you feel like it's uncomfortable. You gotta get used to hearing your own voice kind of thing. And even, that's the thing, even those years when I was Jet, I was still, I liked what I put out, you know, it got good reception. And I still, you know, I have love for that music too. But like even then, like I was confident, but I knew I wasn't all the way there. And I think a part of it too was me moving and going to San Antonio and like, and it just changed. And then like, when you know who you are as an artist and then like as a person as a person, I think it all coincided at the same time. So now it's like, it's hard to describe, but you just know like, it makes it, I'll tell any artist, it makes it easier. Like how many you were saying, when you just go by, you know, your name or just whatever truth you go by, it makes it easier to make music because it's just like it's straight from you, you know. Like now that I learned everything, now it's like I apply it, but now it's just like riding a bike type of thing, or it's just it comes to you second nature. So like so now it's definitely different. Like everything, you know, it just came together. So now for me it's just hustling and, you know, making these certain moves and things like that. But it was definitely a growth period going from Jet. And then like now when you get to that supreme confidence as an artist that, you know, like wherever your crowd is, you know, they're gonna like your music. I mean, you know your music is good, even though certain music may not be for some people, but you know it's you know, so you're just gonna put it out anyway. What you want. So like,
you
so
don't want to put out nothing that's not genuine. You know,
because you're gonna like, probably artists won't admit it, but like they can put stuff out, but like they know it's not them. It won't hit the same. So like when people like your music, and I know you can relate too, when it's you, it really kind of hits a little different. It's like a little extra. Like it's always good to get like praise or, you know, they like it, but like when you know this is straight from you, it's like, oh dang, like they're relating really to you. This is you on a plate pretty much, and they're looking at it. So I would say it was definitely a transformative process and whatnot, but that's pretty much what the early years represented. Just getting my feet set.
Nah, it's crazy. I didn't even think about that until you brought it up just now. Like, I mean, I kind of did. I just didn't know how to word it until you said it just now. Like, when you said it's like an evolution, you know? Because in my head, I knew I didn't want to go by that no more because for a bunch of reasons. But for one, I feel like when I was in that time frame and those songs that I made, I'm not that person no more. Because I've grown and I'm still proud of the music. Music is timeless. Music is good music. You know what I'm saying? Like good music is always going to be good music. And I still like go back and I listen to them But yeah, like
Mhm.
I hit a point where like the way I was attacking songs and approaching writing a verse, or what I chose to talk about, how I chose to present it, it was just all, I guess you could say, like a little more mature, or like more grown, or
Mhm.
more experienced for sure. Like even
Mhm.
in just how I like record, my thought process, how I reach out for collabs, everything about me as an artist was different because who I was as a person is different. And it's so
Mhm.
crazy for people, whether you're an artist for like music, or like you paint, or like you're a martial artist, or you're an athlete, like what your craft, if you agree, like what I think is like your craft reflects who you are as a person, like how you do your craft, how you put it
Mhm.
out to the level or intensity that you do. You know what I'm saying? So
That's
it's
true.
like,
Yeah.
and then I feel like when you do that, that's when the best products come out, because it's like not like not nothing is ghost written, or you're not talking about something you didn't really experience, that you don't
Yeah.
really know about. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like authenticity is. I think that's why I relate to a lot of the artists that I like, because I may never I'll never know what it's like to run a trap house like like how Ti did,
Yeah.
or maybe like
Uh-huh.
almost want to feel like I'm gonna kill my other half like Eminem did. I'll never know
Yeah.
what that's like, but I
Mhm.
respect it and I relate to it, because like I can tell they're being real, and like their hearts on their sleeve when they're
Yeah.
making their music. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's good music. So
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because you know it's coming that they're wearing their heart on their sleeve. So you know, like
yeah.
it's straight from them. And like, yeah, so when the yeah, rappers like that, artists like that, you know, you when they say stuff, it like paints a picture like you're there. So like, I know what you mean. So it's like you're in that environment with them and they're taking you like on a trip. Be it it could be through like words, just how the whole thing is composed, like how Kendrick pretty much has the whole either whatever kind of album he does, it always has a whole story with it. So it
Hmm.
all has a certain sound. So yeah, it's cool how he does that too. By the way, like so yeah,
Like a
this
movie.
it's cool how artists are there. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
like from start to finish, everything sounds this way for a certain reason. You know, they got certain interludes to just paint like a big picture. Like
Skits.
I like stuff like that. Yeah, skits and
Yeah.
things like that. So that's a good point. Like it puts you in a different place. Sorry, that you maybe you haven't lived in or somebody hasn't done, but you can picture it like you're there.
Hmm. Yeah, like for me, listen, I feel like for a lot of people, like especially like because like a lot of music, rap music, hip hop music, got inspired from NWA, like gangster rap and stuff. Like they were like in the '80s, so that's like pretty much OG stuff. So like when you hear that, and then when you hear newer stories from that era, like or from that region, like Compton or whatever. Like when I grew up listening to Game, and then I grew up,
Mhm,
and then I hit high school and stuff, and I listened to Kendrick. You know, I'll
mhm.
never know what it's like to gang bang in LA. But it's like when you hear them like talk about their life and through their songs, it's kind of like you're watching a movie. Like you see it, like they depict the story so well, and it's like you'll never know what it's like
Mhm.
to experience that. But it's like, you kind of feel like you're there. You know what I'm saying? Like what you were saying? Yeah, because
Yeah, yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
and they do it well because they're being true to what they're rapping about, what they live. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it all ties in. It all like
Mhm.
comes back around. Like as long as they're being authentic, like any kind of like whatever style, even if it's not hip hop, but like it could be like country. I don't even really listen to country,
Yeah.
but you know, they're singing about maybe some kind of heartbreak or something. But like it's
You
you know
feel
it's
for
coming
the
from a
dude.
real place. So like yeah. So like you'll feel it, even though you may not have that certain type of experience, you'll feel the emotion coming from
Yeah.
it. Like okay, it's coming from a real place. Like
Yeah.
they mean what they're saying, you know. So like yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Like when they're speaking from experience, and it's like and when they're being authentic, it's believable. I think that's why, like,
Yeah.
yeah, like like for people who like, for example, like what's his face, like Logic, he or J Cole, when they
Hmm.
speak about their like being biracial and like growing
Hmm.
up, and like how they even face like controversy even within their household and stuff.
Hmm.
Like man, it's so crazy. Like I feel like I'm watching a documentary about a biracial person and their childhood growing up dealing with it, but it's a song.
Hmm.
Like I'm driving listening to a
Yeah.
song, but I feel like I'm seeing images. They put images in your head. There's like a plot
Hmm.
twist, or they take it back and then they kind of leave it off where they're at now. I feel like
Hmm.
you're good with that, like with your songs. Like you make those bangers too that you can like vibe to, but like
Yeah.
you're good at storytelling too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. That's always been a thing. Yeah.
no,
Oh,
go
no, you
ahead.
can go. Sorry about that. I cut you off here.
Oh no, yeah, I was just gonna say like you're because for me that's what I appreciate that in music a lot. Like, you know, I'm all about the bars and the lines and the subject matter, but
Hmm.
when you can tell a good story too, and I feel like you
Hmm.
do that really well. Like it takes people are hooked from the minute you start opening your mouth on the song. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So
Yeah, yeah. Like that's always been big with me. Cause I know as I kind of transitioned. I know when I first started, when I very first started recording rapping, I started off like freestyling, but then at first I started doing the melodic flow. I actually real early, like, and then I went to doing like how I was doing like, you know, freestyling style, you know, bars, which because I love bars too. Like people may not know that, but like I grew up, my dad almost has every Jay-Z CD like made. Like so we bumped that all the time, front to
right.
back, front to back. So like I already grew up just, you know, knowing how important and just my mom being like an English teacher, just knowing how good just having an English vocabulary is. So like we had to speak a certain way, not speak a certain way, but like, you know, enunciate, you say different words and stuff like that. So like I'll always like have my head in like a book or something like that when
Hmm.
I was younger. And so like that I took that a little bit and then I had there's different phases, but then for me, the big thing that I like doing, like you said, was like the vibe. I paid because like when I really got into music, one of the things actually, besides the rapping that I really like, was because one of my friends used to burn me CDs way back when that was still a thing, and it was mostly rap songs, but there was like two instrumentals on there. I can't remember the songs. One was what was it? The I Get High song, you know, the
Oh
instrumental
yeah,
like the
yeah, yeah.
Chipmunk Boys. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that instrumental
yeah.
had me, and like I was on school. It wasn't even the song. I was just bumping the instrumental. So I fell in love with like the instrumentals. I was like, that could set a vibe to a song.
Hmm.
And so like I always think of it in like a whole now. So I think of the instrumental. If it makes me feel a certain way, then I know I can, okay, like this is the one right here. And
Yeah.
then it's easier for me to click with it. And I kind of like paint like a picture, or either if it's not, maybe if it's not a story on certain songs, it's a certain vibe to it. So it's
Hmm.
like you get like a certain feel when you're doing it, or you can play this song while you're here, while you're cruising, or while you're out driving at night, or if you're just chilling, or maybe you're about to go to a party. I kind of think of it like that too. Sometimes
Hmm.
if it's not as specific, I just give you like a certain vibe. So okay, this is what this is for. This is what this is for. And then I'll tie in some different things into it from there. So that's kind of
Yeah.
like that's kind of what I do now is kind of like put it all together.
No, that's what I was gonna say. Like you're good at balancing that because there's some people like they're good at storytelling, but maybe they don't have the production behind it, or like the beat was trash, or like
Yeah,
you
it's
know it just
always
wasn't
different. Yeah.
it wasn't pleasant to listen to. And then there's people who are like they'll put you in a good feel, like in a good mood, like it's a good vibe, but then what they're saying might be trash. You know what I'm saying? Like you,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
not to
Yeah.
disrespect nobody, you know what I'm saying, but like you do it well. Like you can like because you produce your own beats and stuff too, or like the stuff that you put out, like it'll put you in a good mood where you're like attentive and listening, and like you're like you don't even know, before you know it, your head's bobbing, and you're really
Yeah.
driving out and jamming to it, and then what you're saying, everything resonates too. So it's like a complete packaging. Like I feel like you're really good doing that because like different people have different preferences in what they listen to or what they like in a song. Some people like the beat, some people like the lyrics, some people you know, like a bunch of features. Some people don't like features,
Hmm.
but it's like um I feel like a good artist has a good balance of like everything. You just kind of know how to
Hmm.
throw everything together. You know what I'm saying? And like I feel like you're on top of that. Like I keep referencing like J Cole, like because he produces the beats too, and then he gets on them, and
Yeah.
then he'll put like he'll put you in like some mental space where you're vibing out because it's a certain type of feel and sound, and then he'll hit
Hmm.
you with some lyrics that's like, oh wow, you know. So like yeah, I appreciate
Yeah.
that a lot in you, man. I see that in you, and like I definitely hear it too, bro. Like
Hey, thank you. Because that yeah, I appreciate that because that's actually like something I aim to do too. Like yeah, just to keep that balance.
mm-hmm.
So like when people are vibing out, but like on the second, like maybe on the second listen, or if they're just listening real close the first time, they'll hear okay, this he's talking about something, or like I'll slip some bars in there real
Yeah,
quick.
and they're like,
So like I
ooh,
like doing that. So like you're listening, it's not like you can listen to it, but then you'll
yeah,
catch something like okay, you
like
hear this, like
yeah, like
yeah,
even if it's not a story, like what you're saying and how it's being
yeah.
delivered, it's like, yo, this is fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Thank you. Yeah,
yeah, I
that's a
appreciate that,
big
bro.
thing with me too. Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Have you ever like I do this all the time, like even if it's not too hard or complex, but like I'll hear something and then I'll have like my opinion on it, like, oh, it's good, it's cool. And then like I hear it 2, 3 more times, like, yo, I didn't even realize they said that, or like, oh, I didn't even know that I felt that way about that. Like, has it ever happened to you before?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, because yeah, the other day I was bumping because I have a lot of not a lot, but I have a good amount of songs that's I haven't released yet. So I was trying to see like what song I'll post next. So I'm just listening to the songs, and then there's some like you remember in the back of your head, but you forget about it, and so I click on it like, oh shit, okay, I did this song, and then you listen to some lyrics he said, and then I'm like, okay, okay, I like this one. Or I hear a hook. I was like, okay, I remember recording this. So yeah, because it's funny. I was just doing that the other day, just scrolling through like some like kind of recent, maybe from a few months ago,
Mm-hmm.
just trying to see like, I'm gonna record some more, of course. I'm like, see what I have in the vault. Because I know I have a habit of always recording. I like recording new music. Like there's old music I can put out too, but like I don't know. It's just like a thing I do. Like I just like putting new music out. So when I tell people there's a new song, 9 times out of 10, it's
A day
probably
old.
been recorded. Yeah, literally, yeah, a day old, or even the last one was a couple hours old. Like
Oh yeah.
it was I recorded that early in the morning that same day. It was like 2 a.m. or something like that.
Wow.
And I actually had another song I finished. I was about to do that one, but then I don't know. I was like, yeah, let me go, listen to a few more beats, and then yeah, I just heard that beat and I was like, okay, I think this one's it. And I just wrote it out, boom, 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 boom. I listened to it. And then the thing with me is if I find myself listening to it and it just hooks in my head, and I'll just have my song, I'll just have it playing over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And then I approach it like I listen to it like I put myself in the mind state of just like a listener, not like an artist.
Right.
And then it hooked on me even then too. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna post this one. And yeah, and that was just early in the morning. But I was like, the other song, I'm still gonna post too. But at that time, I was like, okay, wait, no, wait, we going to this one. Like I do that a lot. So like I'm always like on the edge with it. So like I was like, wait, this one right here though. So okay, let me post this one
It's
up.
all dope. It's all good.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, that's why like sometimes I'll say like not recently, but I'll post like I'm posting this song tomorrow. I have like the title I post on my IG story, and then I end up posting a totally different song like a couple hours
People are like, wait,
later.
what about the?
Yeah, like, hey, wait, hear me out, yo. But nah, it's cool. Like I just like that with being an artist, like because that's another thing too. Like how I used to be or some artists, or not some, a lot of us are like extra hard on ourselves, like with deadlines, especially deadlines. That was the thing with me. Like I used to be like, just the way I approached it, like I was stressing myself out to do it. I think that was a part of me growing up too, because it was when I was a lot younger.
Right.
Now it's like, the biggest, not the biggest piece of advice, but I just saw, a good one was like, if you're confident in it, it's good music, like just put it out, like,
Yeah.
cause I used to do it too, where you would just hold on to music for no reason. Like you'll think of you will make excuses in your head or this and that and that. And then I just saw that one day. It was just like a random Instagram post from like an artist page, but it just stuck out to me. It's like, why you holding on to it? Just put it out. And so now I'm like, okay, yeah. So now, I still, I space it out, but now, I think once you can get to that point, it's like put it out because like you never know who's gonna listen to it, you never know who's gonna like it, and like chances are, sometimes as an artist, you'll have a song. No, I don't know if there's a right way to put it. It's not like you don't like the song, or maybe a lot of people will like a song. It'll be more popular than you thought. Like you're gonna post this song, but they're vibing out to this, but you never would have known if you didn't just post it because you're feeling. Now I don't know. I gotta find a different way to put it because now like it's now for me I'll just put a song out. I know it's the one I want to put out, but I know like when I first started, I know it happens to a lot of us too. Like you really don't know until you put it out. People were gonna vibe with it, and I think it's just a part of the growing process. And then now me and you are at this point where we matured as a person, as an artist, so we're always gonna be confident in what we put out. So it's different now. But like I know, yeah, when I started, when artists start out, that's a big thing. So I encourage any young artist or new artists. They could be older. Just put it out. Because you'll grow if you're willing to keep putting it out. You'll grow.
No, I feel that because I feel like as an artist, even if we're not like major big time, we still like in our brains have agendas. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like that's a part of it too. Like how it looks on your pages and just spacing out and stuff, and then just um, oh, you want to let this song marinate with the people for a little bit longer, or or you feel like this one needs to wait. But it's like, because I mean, there's positives in that for sure, and I do that all the time. But it's, at the same time, it's like if you have something like in your hand and you just feel like it's hot and it should be heard, yeah, why not? You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like everything happens. Like I believe, like God's timing is everything. Everything happens for a reason. Like you never know. Whoever, someone who might need to hear it will hear it today if you put it out today, or like somebody who's gonna share it to like 100 people that'll help you out. They might do that tomorrow if you post it tomorrow. So it's like just it's like a whole feeling thing. You know what I'm saying? Like as a like you were saying, like how me and you got to a point mentally and um like on a cognitive level, mature level. It's like we got to that point where it's like we know this is what we do. Like this is our craft. We put our all into it, and the product is always dope. So we know like whatever we put out, whenever we put it out, it's supposed to be that way, and the response will be what the response will be. And it's usually I've never had an issue where like I put something out or I did something spontaneous, and it didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? Or it wasn't received
Yeah.
well. Like it was received well all the time, and I'm very grateful for that. And yeah, sometimes it was stuff that I was like waiting to put out, or I had second thoughts on, and then I had to just like kick myself in the butt. Like, come on, dude, just just drop
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So
Yeah,
like, what?
that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to ask because I feel like you're like me, where there's not a lot of artists who sing also, like not a lot of rappers who sing also.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you have that if God gave you that talent, you should, you know what I'm saying? Like you should share it, you should use it. So like for me, for the most part, I've sang 95% of my hooks on any song that I had a hook on.
That's dope.
Only like 3 times I had features for hooks, and it was all family members, just because they're dope. They're my uncle and my cousins, and I wanted them to, I wanted to give them a platform to shine, and I wanted people to hear their vocals because they're killer singers. But other than that, it's always me singing my hooks, and I know you sing all your hooks, like pretty much like
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
all that stuff. So how because for me it's like when I write the hook, I know a lot of rappers, they don't write hooks, you know what I'm saying? That's why they have features. But like for me, like, and for people like me and you, like we sit down there, we have very melodic, like musical minds. So like we're always humming, we're always creating melodies, and then we end up writing and then singing our own hooks. And then for me personally, it's like I don't really need a feature or want a feature, because I want it to sound this way, I want the run to go like this, I want it to be at this pitch or this note. So that's my reason for it. Like, is there a reason you do that? Is it because you wrote it and you want it to sound a specific way, or is it just because you feel like doing it when you sing your own choruses and stuff?
Nah, you made a good point too. Like a lot of like how you're saying, when you do a lot of your own, when you're just used to doing a lot of your own hooks, or just in general, like a lot of your own production and stuff, like you become, for like a perfectionist. Like sometimes it's because you'll obsess over every little thing.
Yeah.
I used to be at it like real. Now I eased off it, but like certain times, it's like, this got to sound like this, or like the average listener, they're not gonna hear it, but to us, it's everything. Like this has to sound this way, or I need to add this reverb or add this echo right here. Oh, I got cut this little frequency out a little bit. It's coming through too much. So like, yeah, that's big. Like for me, actually, that would be dope. I might have to do that because I would like to have, different songs where I collab, where I don't do the hook, just to switch it up, just because, I'm so used to doing it. Like, why not, let's do something different, I'll just have a verse, then, the collab, they can do the hook, just to switch it up. Cause like, I'm all for that. Cause like, even just like one thing I like about collabs too, is just even hearing the other person's vibe, what's the word? It's just cool hearing how other artists approach the same song pretty much. That's why I like seeing, like, even though it's about the same subject, just like maybe how the cadence is, or maybe the melodies or the whole rhythm of it is like, you're like, oh, okay, that's dope. Like they came at it from an angle we didn't think. So like, I'm all for that. But like, yeah, like there's a certain part of it where you are like, this has to sound like this or this and like that. And like, I'd be like, no, this gotta go right here. This gotta go right here. Like, so that definitely plays into it, especially, when you do a lot of solo stuff, it just gets ingrained in you. You're just used to doing it like that. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I gotta remind myself to break out of it, you know, like it's okay, you know,
Yeah.
let's get some stuff done. You know, it doesn't, you know, don't obsess over it too much.
Then there's always that thing like if you want something done right, do it yourself. You
Hey,
know.
that's probably nah. I mean, when I first started, my uncle actually burned FL Studio for me. But like I know in Hawaii, there was about 3 times I went, about 3 or 4 times I went to the actual studio. He's a dope engineer too, so it was dope. So like I like going there. His name is Bobby. He's a cool dude. Shout out to Bobby. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like it was dope. His mixing was A1. It was good. But like, you know, like how you saying you want something done, do yourself. Like I listened to the way he was mixing and took different things away mentally, like how he was mixing different things. Not like I couldn't actually see what he was doing, but I could hear what he was doing.
Yeah.
And I see what my music needed. Like some songs I probably didn't have any echo in the back, or my verse, you know, maybe sounded this way or that way.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh shit, I can do this. So I can add, you know, echo to this to make it sound like it's more in the back of the song, add some space to it. But like he's not like I actually do like recording at a studio just because it was different. You know, I get a different take on it, you know. But like eventually, you know, I'm just so used to doing it. Like I'll you know, I appreciate it too. Like the stuff I just learned from being there, and I'll just apply it to my own. But I would definitely be down. Like if I collab with somebody here, if they had a studio, I would go over there too just to switch it up. So like I'm definitely still down just to switch studios just to get different vibes and see how different people, you know, work and things like that.
No, yeah. I mean, I was talking just from a singing aspect. Like I have like I'm not good at mixing at all. I have either I do what I can, and or I have like I ask homies to do it for me. But like I agree with you. But like yeah, I just meant from like a singing aspect, like on our hooks. I was like, because there's times where like I had songs, because you do it well, and then you sometimes you it flows right into how you start your verse. So and I know like you did that, like the little details. I know you did it on purpose.
Yeah.
But like for me, for example, like that one song I had my uncle sing on the hook. I just felt like I had to do it also, so we just harmonized on it. But it was just because I talked about my grandpa, you know what I'm saying, or like songs where I had my girl cousins kill the hook. It was like um I wrote it and I thought the hook was dope and it's catchy and I could totally do it, but I'll just have it sung with a higher. I'll just have these girls do. You know what I'm saying? So I know, but I know what you mean though. Like, cause like uh, I've had people like Bombs, especially another shout out. Like he always mixes my vocals, especially when I'm doing something like big with him or collabs. And I'll send it to him and he does it all the time. So I respect and I appreciate him a lot for doing that. But just since we're talking about mixing and mastering, like when did you produce? When did you start producing? Because I know you write, you rap, you sing, and then you produce also, which is like another like buckle in your Batman utility belt. You know what I'm saying? So like, when did that come about? When did you start doing it? And then like, how did you like know that like, oh okay, I'm pretty good at this. Let me keep going.
Yeah, so that's the thing too. Like for me, that's another thing. I love rapping, producing, and singing, but like I love mixing a lot too. So like when I first started, before I started rapping on beats, I just had FL Studio like maybe 10. I forgot the number it was back then. And then I made beats, and it was before I knew anything about EQ, clipping. Like everything was in the red. I didn't know why it was so loud. Like it's like everything's like bumping. Like okay, I got to
turn everything up a quarter.
Yeah. It's crazy, you know what? Back when I had that FL Studio, it was my parents, back when desktop computers were still a thing. It was on like a gateway desktop. So it was like ancient technology. So like, and then it was crazy. There's like the Jet Jones years how we're talking about. Those years is when I don't know how much hours a day I spent practicing it, but also either, you know, downloading PDFs, watching YouTube videos. I first had to learn how to mix beats, which it took me a long time because I'm real hands-on. So I'll read something or maybe I'll watch something, but like it won't translate. You know, I got to actually get in there. So a lot of times it'll be trial and error. And I'm like, okay, you know, this isn't mixing right. Why is this, you know, clipping? Why is this kick too loud? How come I can't hear, you know, the hi-hats and the snare? So like a lot of, man, I don't know how much years. This is, you know, EQ, and then vocals is a whole different thing. And that one, I was like, okay, where do I start? And you see these like charts of like, you know, cut this vocal out to reduce the sibilance, or cut the bass out of certain vocals at 200 hertz. So I'm like, yo, what does this all mean? It's like a different language. And then, but it was intriguing, like, cause you know, me liking instrumentals, you know, I like the whole vibe, and I like how I was learning how the way artists makes the vibe of their song. So that's what kind of drew me in. That's why I think I got good at mixing, or that is why I got good at mixing. So I wanted to have that feel and paint my own picture with it, so I can make the reverb sound like this, or make the echo sound like that, or have my vocals, you know, sit right in this exact spot on the beat. So yeah, a lot of years was doing, you know, the beats. I got the beats down, I got the mixing down, you know, got the levels to sit right. And then like the other half was just like vocals. And that one took a lot because the thing with vocals, like they'll say there's always a different vocal chain. But as long as like a producer tip, like as long as you have the basics, you could I just use the Fruity parametric EQ right now, like the stock one. I used to have Fab Filter, but I bootlegged it. I downloaded that one. So that trial went out. Like that was the A1 though. That one is a beautiful one. I actually will buy that one. But yeah, you get the EQ, you get a de-esser, you get a compressor, and then a little reverb, and then
you got
that's all you
MPC
need for
too?
a firm bass. Yeah, I actually do. I got it. Yeah. Let me see. I got this one.
Nice.
Got got it right on deck.
Nice.
So like, yeah, it was just, you know, and then after that, I was just learning how to tweak it to get the sound I wanted. You know, I'll find certain reverbs to use, you know, to get like this effect on these tracks that I'm doing. And that's kind of what drew me in, just like having the ability to like sculpt your sound. But I'll say though, mixing is a lot to learn. Like I'll tell people, like they think like, I'm not sure what they'll think, but like it for me, it was like multi-year process. I can't remember honestly how long it took, but I told people, they're like, "How do you do this?" Or like, "How did you, you know, learn this and that?" I said, it's because I wanted to learn. Because mixing, honestly, I still remember and mastering too. It was so much years of just trial and error, downloading different programs.
Yeah.
Some of them working how I wanted to, some of them not sounding how I wanted to, or me just not knowing what these knobs did. So like I wasn't,
did you see like
you know, yeah, I was just tweaking, yeah. And then like the cool thing is like once I learned the basics, you know, just like, you know, have the limiter, you know, have it sitting at a certain dB, and then like once you learn a lot, like there's a good quote I seen from like an artist. I can't remember his name. It's talking about like how you learn how to play an instrument. And I was telling my dad this too. It's kind of how I learned. Like first you learn how to play the instrument, and then you learn how do you say it? Then you learn how to play it yourself. So pretty much like what it means is I think I'm missing a few words from it, but like learn how to play like yourself. So like when I first was mixing and mastering, I was emulating straight what I was hearing, just because I wanted it to sound like exactly what I was watching on the tutorials and things like that. But once I learned everything, it's like with mixing too. They tell you to unlearn. And then once you know how to apply things, I wasn't using so much, you know, BSTs or plugins, because now I knew there's different ways to get different sounds. And I actually didn't need as much of these plugins like I thought I did. I just needed like these basics. And since I knew what they did, it was streamlined. So like before, I was running my little HP computer memory dry. Like I just had plugins loading, Isotope Ozone was loading, like everything was on there. So it was like the CPU was like, it was filled up, you know, I was trying to, you know, make it sound
ready
like
to crash.
Yeah, a few times it did. Like low key, a few times FL Studio, you see that little thing, FL Studio stopped working, and it's like, yo. But yeah, I learned a lot, and then I unlearned it, and then then you just apply it. So now it's like, it may, you know, sometimes mixers, especially depend on the program. Like I kind of know Pro Tools, but I'm so used to using FL Studio now. Like that helps. That actually matters a lot too. Now, if you point me to FL Studio, I can, you know, show anybody, okay, this is what this does, this is where this goes. So that helps a lot too. Just me using the same program for literally at least 10 plus years. I feel like now, like that helped a lot too.
Oh, nice, dude. That's so that. Wow, I never heard that before. I didn't think about that. Like that quote that you read. Like first you learn how to play the instrument, and then you know how to play. How's it go? Play it like you.
Yeah, play it like yourself. Yeah, because I wish I could. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna low key try to type it in on Google, see if I can find who said that.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, it changed my perspective.
No, but I mean I know that I may not be able to quote it verbatim, but I know what it means, and I totally agree with that. Like just for like even like from a literal music instrument standpoint, like yeah, like when I learned how to play the guitar. Okay, I know how it goes. Like I can play the chords, I can strum. Now it's like what genre of music do you like that you're gonna listen to, that you're gonna emulate, that you're gonna play, that you're gonna jam, and then like how do you do your runs when you do licks and stuff, and that like I didn't think about that. And that, I feel like not only instruments, but that goes for like producers too when they make beats. I was like, all right, you learn how to make a beat, how to like maybe a sample, some instruments, like the steady boom bap, and then like all these cymbals, and then maybe even like voiceovers and stuff. And then now it's like, okay, now take that and then put your own personal twist on it. Like now you know the basics. Now as a creative mind, how are you gonna make this sound like you? How are you gonna, how are you gonna like go past just the basics, and when people hear it, they know like, oh, this is new, this is original, this is different, or this is Jason, you know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
how do you feel like your processes are on like when you make these beats? Do you ever like literally start from scratch, or do you hear a song and then you really vibe with it and you want to make something similar? Or like do you get inspiration from, like what do you get inspiration from? How did these beats like come about? Because I know like you have a sound that I kind of familiarize with, like, oh, like this is such a Jason song. You know what I'm saying?
I
Just,
like that. Thank you.
you know what I'm
That's what I
saying?
aim
Like
for real. Yeah,
like
thank you.
you created your own lane, and I identify you in there. At the same time, it's like it came from somewhere. It's not just like they're all in a similar category. They're all different in their respects, but like when you make them, you're not just pulling them out of thin air. You're not pulling them out of a bag that you already had. Like I know you sat down, you worked hard, you created all of them. So like, and I'm sure every process is different, but like just take me through like your basic process. Like when do you ever think it's like I'm gonna sit down and create this beat, or does it just hit you and you just get to work, or how does it go?
Mm. That's a good one. So I would say is overall it's a mix, but there is for me it's what's a good way to put it?
You got like a routine?
Yeah, so like I know with for me it's definitely like a vibe thing. Like what I actually do sometimes is I feel it, how do I describe it? In my head, like the emotion, like I want to have the beat sound like, and then so like I have in my head like I want to make or just paint like this kind of picture, and then the instrumental forms from there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to have. I'm trying to describe it. It's pretty much I'll paint like a mental picture of my mind, and then a sound comes with that. And then because sometimes the majority of the beats I think of is usually when I'm away from the studio, which also sucks because I want to be home making it. So I'll literally just be out, but sometimes I just get preoccupied. I start thinking because I just be thinking of instrumentals. And I think of like a feel, and then like certain sounds will just come from that, and then I'll do my best to like remember it till I get home. But then there's also sometimes because there's a song I did I think when I first moved to Texas called Myself. That one was literally I just heard a beat. No, it was a beat. It was a song. My sister had a song playing, and then it was back when I still stayed with them. And then the beats didn't even sound alike. But it was like the vibe or whatever. I think it was the tempo. And like as soon as I got home, I was just already had that tempo in my head. Like my head was nodding to it. And then I just made that beat, and then I recorded that song like right after. And then it's just like that one was like a feel. Like for me, it's like when there's a certain feel, and then it just clicks, and then like it's just like I have a certain feeling that I want to get across and like the beat,
Right.
even if people can't actually or they'll feel the feeling, but like that's what I'm trying, that's why I paint as far as the beat. And then
Mm-hmm.
I slap the lyrics on top to make it a whole picture, usually for an
Right.
instrumental. But there is sometimes with me, like I'll hop on, like, okay, I'll literally just like, okay, I'll set the BPM to 140 or 120 because I like no matter what melody I make, I want it to be this type of track. So if I set it to 140, 9 times out of 10, I want it to be like fast paced, 1, 2, 3, 4. So like even if the melody may sound, it could be a mellow, uplifting, like no matter what, that song's gonna have a fast pace. So this could be
Right.
something they could play in a club or in a car or a party or just or a kickback. But if I set it to like 120, which is one I like doing a lot too, that's that it's right in the middle. And that's
Mm-hmm.
usually where that I like that vibe because that one has like a groove where it's not too fast
Yeah.
and it's not too slow. So like no matter what, I'll set the tempo. And then I used to experiment with different ways. Usually now I'll do the melody first, but sometimes I'll switch it up and I'll do the drums. Like I'll do the hi-hats and the snares first, kind of like get my head bouncing. Okay, I like this. A few times I'll even do, which just the experiment, I did the 808 first. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
sometimes I think of an 808 pattern, like, yeah, let's do something different. So I'll start at 808 and then kick, and then snare, then the hi-hats, and then I'll open up like Omnisphere or something. Like, let me match it up in my head of this. But usually for me, 9 times out of 10, so, I am a melodic producer. 9 times out of 10, I'll do the melody first, but I have the BPM set, so I know like at least what pace is gonna be.
Yeah.
I'll do the melody first, hi-hats, snare, kick, and I always do the bass close to last or next to last. But
Oh
between
wow.
that is like percussion,
I
like
know some
open
people always hit
hats.
bass first, right? That's why.
Yeah,
Because
that's
they
the
feel like
thing.
it's part of
I
the
like
drum
that
line.
too. Yeah, because you know what? I think that's a good thing. I should do that more now because I have like these actual speakers. I used to not have like actual like studio speakers.
Yeah,
But like, yeah, if I can have my 808s bumping, which I do sometimes, and I be chilling. Like if I can have these speakers playing, like that's a good way too. Because that you automatically when you start from 808s, you can really set the energy of a track in a big way just from the drums,
yeah.
just from the drums alone. So like that's honestly something I might experiment with a little bit more myself, just to switch it up. So that's how you
Mhm.
create like some dope stuff is when you challenge yourself to do something different. So
Yeah.
yeah, I might actually do that a few more times.
Have you ever made a beat where like because I know everything's like off the top of your head, like you said, original. Have you ever made a beat where you heard another song and then you really like the sound of it, like the vibe, so you tried to recreate it or like
Yeah.
had like influence from it, and of course made it your own. But have you ever heard anything that you were like, oh, I gotta make something like that, or like let me try and make something like
Oh,
that?
definitely. I wish I could think of one off the top, but no, that's something I definitely done, and I might still do if I hear like a certain song. I'm trying to think if I can remember an example. I probably have beats if I win on my second laptop. If I listen to them, I could probably be like, oh, I know what
Oh
song I
yeah,
was listening to and I made this. So yeah, no, I definitely do that. If there's a song like if it has like a real new sound, like oh, this is dope, or like they use the trumpets a certain way, or even if they
hmm
use like a sample a certain way, I'm gonna be like, okay, let me emulate, try to get that pace, get the same sounds and tweak it, or maybe tweak the melody and things like that, but kind of get like the same kind of instruments, so you kind of paint
yeah,
the same picture, and then you put your twist on it. So like, no, I definitely done that too.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I hear a lot of dope stuff. Like, yo, okay, I like this. Let me see what
yeah.
I can do with it. Put my little twist on it. So yeah, definitely.
No, yeah, I had to ask from a producer standpoint because like definitely as a writer, I do that all the time. Like it's not like I'm biting and making it exactly, but I'm like I just like how like I was like, yo, I really like this song, how they got their message across, how they did this, or like how they presented this, or oh, that's a different take on this kind of subject matter, like whatever. And I'll be like, oh, I can do that. I can make it my own, and then I'll go try and do it, and the next thing you know, it's like a whole different lane from anything I've ever made before, which is cool because it opens up more like creative pockets that like, okay, now I know I can do this if I want to. I can always go back to
Mhm.
this. I can go this way. But if I want to make this, I've tried it and it works. So, and I've heard it and I like it. So, you know what I'm saying? So going off
Yeah,
of
that's a
that,
yeah.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you good, you good. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, my bad. Yeah. So going off of that and like feeling like having like a lot of influence um that leaks into your own craft. I always ask like my homies who are like musicians, rappers, singers, part people in the band. I always ask people when I interview when I talk to them, like especially specifically rappers, like do you have a list like your top 10 that you
Oh
like
man.
that
Mhm.
you love? Either it can be like top 10 that you're a fan of, that your favorites, or that you feel like are the best, or like that influence you the most, or they just I just want to know, like I just like hearing people's what they grew up to, what they listened to, what they idolized, what they tried to be like, you know, because like when you start making music,
Yeah.
you obviously draw influences from what you're a fan of, you know what I'm saying? So I just want,
Mhm.
and sometimes you can hear it. For example, like uh I don't know, like if you hear somebody like rapping fast, for example, like sometimes when I get on the beat and I chop it up, like you can tell like, oh, this person probably listens to like Eminem, like Logic,
Mhm.
Busta Rhymes, Twista,
Yeah.
Bone Thug, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like you can kind of tell what somebody's a fan of by what they make themselves. So I just want to know, like, do you
Mhm.
got a list, bro? And if so, who's on it?
Man, that's
This is just
tough.
a personal question. I just want to know. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because
Ah,
you do everything, bro. You rap, you sing, you produce. All the beats are like different. So I just want to know, like, where you grew up getting inspiration from.
See, yeah, because I think my brother had, I think it was my brother. Someone had that same question for me, and like mine will be like a mixed list because they'll have rappers, but also for me producers too. Just because I like listening to from that. But I know I think what my mom and dad would say too, they used to tell me when I rap, like they like how even when I first started this rapping, this pure 16s and things like that, they like how I enunciated, and they knew because like pretty much we grew up listening to Jay-Z. He was always clear, he had his different style, but he always made sure he got his message across.
Right.
I think between that and my mom's grandma being the English teacher, like they always like my dad said, I like how you sound, like they can hear you whatever you're talking about.
Right.
So Jay-Z, he's definitely he's a big inspiration. I know ooh, that's a great question, man. Oh,
See, I
man.
had to be specific with it because every time people ask me, like I rap and I love hip hop, but I also like, dude, I'll be like playing reggae, Hawaiian songs, like worship music, like R&B. So like when they ask me for a list, I always say like, wait, what genre? Because I can give you a list from like R&B people, from hip hop people. But let's just keep it with like the rap, the producers and the rappers. Yeah.
So Jay-Z, maybe not so much. Well, I know like even when I freestyle, I could feel like I definitely drew a lot from that style. But I know for him, it was definitely just a big influence growing up on his music. And then I would say after Jay-Z or along with Jay-Z, producer wise and artist wise, let me see. Let me think. It's a lot because I know them all in my head and just trying to like filter the names out. That's how it is. Like, I know the names are there.
Now you ain't gotta put a number on it. Just however many people you feel like you want to acknowledge.
Yeah. All right. So like the melodics, like when that started kicking in, that was around that time. That's when I know even when I first started, recording music. That's when it first started coming on the scene, I guess, more prominently, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
So like a lot of rappers at the time who were doing that. I mean, you had, there was Drake, there was T-Pain, there was just different like that had that flow or like just the melodic sound. I took a lot from that.
It's like a mixture of rap singing.
Yeah, so that was, I know when I very first started, that was big. Like I was like, ooh, I want to. That's exactly how I was too. I wanted it to sound like this. Like I was hyped. Like I want to do this melodic and switch it up and rap and switch it back to melodic.
Yeah,
like, that was a big focus for me. And then from that, I kind of grew into the producers because I know when there's a lot of Canadian producers that came out that are real dope. Like there's a Boy Wonder, a lot of his beats. Because a lot of artists, sometimes their beats just inspire me just to sound a certain way. Mm-hmm. And I liked how they sounded on there. There was one rapper who I listened to. Me and my brother used to listen to a lot. Like he may not be well known, but his name was Kid Ink. He was a big. Me and my brother, we had my homie Spencer. When we used to ride around, we used to always bump his music. And like the thing I liked about his music, like I told my brother, like we all talked about, like I felt like he never picked a bad beat. Or just for him, like a bad beat for him. He always matched with whatever kind of track he was doing. And honestly, because I think it was a little bit before I even started rapping too, like, but that kind of stuck out to me. I was like, he always had a certain vibe with it. And I remember when I first started his music, I was like, yo, this stuff is lit. You hear this beat? Like a lot of times I'll be talking about the music because I like his music too. I'm like, yo, these producers out here, the way they're painting the picture, the beat so much, like all you have to do at that point, he just compliments it. So I kind of like that. So of course, like even when old Kanye came out, producer wise, easily top 10. Like I can't speak too much on what he's doing now. It's always something different. But like because when he first came out, of course, since we grew up on Jay-Z, Kanye, we listened to the albums when he first started bringing them on there. And then of course you hear Graduation and things like that. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yo, he's next level. Like I need to sample more. There's a stage where I sampled a lot of beats just to get different sounds like that. So I'll listen. And my brother, he was a big Bone Thugs fan. So, that triplet flow or just how the way they sung rap is different. Like I like how different artists, they'll do the same thing, but with a different twist on it. It's like the Bone Thugs way. I like the way how they it was smooth and airy, but they'll talk about the most real stuff. But like the way they approached it was like real, like, their music for me is real. I can just play it and chill, I was just doing that a couple months ago. I was playing what song was it? Man, it was like, it's the real popular song too, and I love it, but I can't get the title in my head right now. When it's on my wake up, the first of the month. I
Yeah.
love that song. But honestly, I love the song. I love the beat as equally as I love the lyrics. Like that's something that always attracts me. So like I listen to but yeah, the melodic thing, I say overall, there's a lot of melodic artists that I contributed to me just being inspired by them. I know nowadays I would say more so. I'm trying to think. Even my beats. Well, I know when I first started making beats, I wanted it to sound like maybe something back when Michael made it was big. Or even
Oh
speaking of
yeah.
T.I., like his album, oh, my family loved that album. We all still do. T.I. versus T.I.P. That's probably
Oh
one of my
yeah.
favorite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo,
Classics.
that is a
Classics.
classic. I
Like
think my
every
brother,
top to
yeah,
bottom, the whole album was just classic.
everything. And he had a whole concept with it. My brother, he was just working out. He told me like last month he was just bumping. I was like, oh, I remember that. Like, so oh, you remember this song from there? Like Top Back remix. Like, oh,
Oh
yo,
yeah.
don't even get me started. Don't get like that was
What you
big because he
know?
had oh man, that's it.
Oh
When
man.
I see that's the thing too. When I first heard that beat, I was like, yo, this no
Yeah.
matter what, like that song was lit. But like yeah, Dirty South a lot. Yeah, T.I. There's a lot of his producers that I like. DJ Toon made a lot of his beats. And
Yep.
Michael made it started coming on the scene. And I just like that whole style where Atlanta made it like you can still deliver content, and even though the beats may sound like different or it may sound like a party beat or it may be bass heavy or it's different, but it's still talking about the same topics. That really drew me in too. So like definitely a lot of more so producers and of course the artists T.I., Ludacris,
I
Chicken and
love
Beer.
Ludacris. I love
Yeah,
Ludacris, bro.
Luda.
He's so
I
slept on, bro.
was about to say he slept
Yeah.
on big time.
It's because
Red
he
Light
takes
District.
like it's because he does that like some like what he's known for before was like just being left field. So he'll do like comedic rap or whatever, and he got into movies and he's making like bajillion dollars. But if you take him as an MC, like just pure rapper, bro, he's
Dope.
top. He's elite, dude. His punchlines, the
Dope.
metaphors, like
Mhm.
like the flow. So I've never heard a bad Luda verse or a bad Luda feature. Like never. Like he's
Yeah,
one guy.
that's a
Like
good point.
he's a
Yeah.
good. Every song I've ever heard featuring him, even back in the day when it was Justin Bieber featuring him, I've never
Mhm.
heard a bad Luda verse, bro. Like
That's true. Speaking about that, yeah, me and my brother would talk about that too. Like his punchlines are crazy, and
yeah,
back then he was really unique even for the time he came out. Like, cause yeah, like you said, he had that comedic flow, but he still had that edge to him where he'll make songs like get out the way, get back, you don't know
yeah,
me like that. Like he always had a mix, and for him, the thing I like too is just being he was like a whole artist. His videos just be crazy,
yeah.
but it matched it all wrapped into who he was. So like that was real dope. So I definitely like that. There's some artist name that almost popped into my head. Or even just like people like Kendrick or Cole, just like when they do a song, it's like you pick it, it's like handpicked, but you put it's a whole vibe with it. So like even if I don't have a music video, if I did, I'll
You know
make
how
sure
we
it
look.
matches up. Yeah, like it's like a whole like it's literally like art. Like it's
Mhm.
not like painting, but you're painting a picture, and I mean literally too. If you do have the video with it,
Yeah,
even song art, that's a big thing with me too. Like
I
because
was
I
gonna
grew
ask
up
about
actually
that.
drunk.
I was gonna,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
if you don't mind, because you're about to get into
yeah,
it. So if you don't mind, let me.
yeah.
I was gonna ask like one thing I was gonna bring up was like your cover art all the time. You post something, I'm like, yo, did he draw that? Like every time you have cover art for anything, bro, it's always like, whoa, where did that come from? Like, wait, he
Yeah.
pay somebody? Like, did he?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, explain your cover art. Like, do you draw all that stuff, or like, yeah, Procreate? You do it on a computer, or what's up?
Yeah, so majority of it, like when I first started, or even now, like I use what is it, Adobe Illustrator, and
Mm.
then like it's kind of like because it all ties in to like because like how we said earlier, it's you're pretty much putting yourself on a plate. It's all you. So like
The whole package,
I
the
match up the
song and the
art, yeah, with the vibes. So like I know back when I did even last year, I was working on a EP where it was Up to No Good. For that one, and I actually released it around this time last year. It was like a whole October theme I had with it. So like for me in my head, I was like, okay, I was thinking clouds. So even like a lot of the beats, it had like a dark, gritty 808 to it, kind of like spacey sounds in the back.
Yeah.
And then that one actually, I wasn't even melodic a lot on that EP too. So like that one, it was a whole, because I had like a whole vibe I wanted to go for. And then for me, when I was just sitting back thinking about it, I was like, okay, if I had to cover art for this, what would it look like? And then I'll play a song, and then once that song is done, whatever mood it is, I was like, okay, I'll paint the picture for that. So I'll go on Illustrator, and then I'll find like a background. Maybe sometimes it'll be a picture I have, or it'll just be something on the internet. I'll wait until it looks like, okay, this is it. And then I'll just do that, and then I'll put the dollar symbol on it, or I'll put the title, or I may put it in like a different place to kind of switch it up. And I'll just mess with effects sometimes just to see if I get something like crazy I don't even know I could do. I'll just click buttons sometimes. And so but Illustrator is good. People sleep on that. Like Adobe Illustrator is all that I use. I know once in a while there have been a few artists that I have paid. Like the most recent one, like for my logo, I actually have a friend in Hawaii, Jared Quick, which I recommend anybody to him. Like he's real dope with I don't even know if he uses Illustrator. I don't know what he uses, but he paints and stuff too. So he already does the art on paper and digital. So like I remember with that, of course I had ideas for a logo, but I think at the time I was feeling like I guess I was feeling too busy. And then I was like, I just knew I wanted someone to create it. That way I can just focus on music, at least for that point in time. Mm-hmm. So that new logo I had, he actually drew that up. But I told him like how I wanted it to look to kind of match the vibe. Yeah. So okay, hey, he already knew to get the dollar signs on there. I was like, anything with waves in it, I was like, yeah, you can add that up on there. And like I was like, the colors, you can, black and white, or you can switch it around. So he shot me a couple ideas. I still have the emails. And then there was one that just stuck out. I was like, okay, yeah, this is the one. But I do definitely love to collaborate with other artists too. But a lot of times for me, if it's like just a song release, I'll go ahead and make it myself. I just kind of get like the feel for it, find some images that I like, and I just go hop on Illustrator, or not Illustrator, Photoshop, and then just see how I can put it together, kind of thing.
Nah, I had to ask, bro, because every time you drop something, like I know I'm expecting like some unorthodox but slick cover art. Like it's always like it looks so professional. Like it looks like you ripped a badge off of a bag at the Gucci store. Yeah. That's your artwork, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I want to get back to what you were talking about earlier with like the I don't know what's the term for it, but like the singing rappers, like the rapper singers, like of the more modern era, like Drake definitely sticks out. And like I feel like that's always like because you have bars too, and you can just sit there and rap all day and you'll kill it. But I know like that's your style too, right? Like you go in that lane sometimes, and which is so dope because you have to be able to legitimately sing to pull that off. I feel like anyway. And I just wanted to like shout out some people that I grew up listening to that like I'm sure you probably did too, like that just that kind of started that. Maybe we weren't aware of what they were doing at the time when they turned rap into like melody and sing and they go back to rap. We weren't even aware that it was a thing. But like for me, like Nate Dogg and like Nelly, like Nelly is so he's like even Eminem, he be singing sometimes too. But like in Nelly, like for me, I was like, I don't even know if he's singing or rapping sometimes. Like it's like both at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, and he has that country twang on him, so it's like even more so like I don't even know what he's doing. He's like, is he just yelling?
For real.
You know what I'm saying?
Like you don't know what to call it.
Yeah, that's Nelly. Like Like Meek Mill just be shouting all the time.
He do, like this certain. It's like when you hear it, it's like, oh, that's his Nelly or that's Meek Mill. Like it's like they have that certain style associated with him because it's so different and it's them. But as soon as you hear it, that's a good way to describe it too. Because like Ludacris and Nelly, those are two artists like. You won't find anybody else that sound like them. Because it's different. Because every artist is different, but theirs is just like different in a unique way. Like like maybe somebody didn't think it was gonna work, but it works. Like Nelly has a whole country twang with it, and like you said, like honestly, now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever just heard him just like rap. It's always in that. It's always like melodic, going with the beat. Ludacris, like the way he enunciates his punchlines, no one else does it like that. Yeah, like he'll make it stand out. Real
sometimes clear. His Ludacris punchlines, like I'll be laughing, like sometimes he'll say something. It was so good that I'm I'm like, what the heck? Like, how do you think?
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm literally laughing after, like, what?
Like, what do you say? Play that back. Rewind it.
Exactly, exactly. It hurts your feelings, but it impresses you at the same time. Like, oh shit.
Yeah, I say that's a big point to make because like he's one of those artists that are like that. Like he'll say something, it's so clever, but he puts that little comedic twist with it that you'll laugh because it's so good, and at the same time it's so entertaining. You're like, yo, did he just say that? Like, yo, play that back. And that's what kept you listening to Luda too, because he was real good at doing that too.
Did you watch their versus battle, by the way, Luda and Nelly?
You know, I think I was working that day, but I had my brother. He was like keep me updated, but I didn't get a chance to like watch it myself yet.
Dude, I mean, I if we're talking about hits and then like bars and then like just rapping ability, there's no way that like Luda wasn't gonna win. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like they just took us on like they took us down memory lane when they were dropping hits after hits after hits, and then I knew at some point Nelly was gonna like maybe when Nelly was down like 3 rounds or whatever, I knew he was gonna bust out Dilemma at one point. So in my mind the whole time I was like, dude, how's Luda gonna respond? So like Nelly bust out the no matter what I do. I was like, oh
classic.
And then Luda was like just like nodding his head. I was like, oh my god, he got something. Next thing you know, he drops Lovers and Friends. I was like,
oh classic.
I was like, of course. Of course.
That song was big. I still remember what grade I was in. That's how you know a song is popular. You remember like how old you were or just where you're at in time. Like I was in middle school in Mississippi when Lovers and Friends came out, and that song was on the radio all the time because that was when Usher was real popular. Like it's crazy how
everything, like every
he could have missed.
Lil Jon made everything. Yeah, there's a point where
crunk music.
Yeah, bro, for real. How important is it to you that you found your own sound? How important do you feel like it is that people, whether they have the whole package and they're able to do that like you when it comes to the producing, singing, and rapping, or whether they're just a singer or just a rapper or just a producer, how important is it to you that you feel like, and can you present it in a way in terms of like advice to people who want to have their own stamp, like their own lane and create their own sound? Because I feel like that's very important, because nowadays there's a lot that sounds the same. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot that sounds, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just like sometimes you get categorized, or sometimes you get people assume what your music's about or how it's gonna sound, which may not be true all the time, because you know, just because you make something that sounds like what's hot, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like for the people who wanna you know, like when you hear somebody, whether you hear a beat that they made or you hear a verse that they dropped, there's those people that, like we were saying, like, you know who it is, like, you know that's them, and they can jump on any kind of song, any kind of beat, any genre, and you'll know that's them. So how important is it to you, do you feel like, to have your own sound, and how would you recommend like going about doing that? Because you definitely created one. Like you can do anything, like you could rap, sing on any type of beat, whether it's a feature or your own, and I'll know it as you know what I'm saying? And it'll always be dope because you're like, well, it all ties together. It'll be dope because you're being yourself. So how would you explain to somebody like how to go about doing that?
Wow. So like I guess to answer the first part, like it's huge. Like to me, having your own sound is huge. Like even like how you told me earlier, like that's a compliment. Like, you know, I usually try to keep it even keel, but like I love getting, like, if I get a compliment like that, that means I'm doing what I want to do right. When they say, I hear this and it sounds like you know, I'm like, thank, because that's literally, you know, like all the work you put in, like you know it's yourself too. And then when people actually acknowledge it, like, okay, yeah, like, you know, you're onto something. I would say for an upcoming artist or anyone just starting, the biggest thing to making your own lane, first, depending on, like, say for instance, depending on what angle they want to attack it from, if you're gonna be a producer, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have to learn from, even if it's not like a big producer. Like for me, I learned from like just random internet producers, and if somebody big had a tutorial, I'll watch it. You'll learn from them. So when you start off, it may sound like it if you're just trying to learn how to just place things instrumental wise from a producer standpoint. But the thing is, like, once you learn it, let go of the reins. Like, it's gonna be addicting to make it sound like this or sound like that. But once you start hearing melodies in your own head, and when you start letting inspiration hit you and trust yourself, and like if you hear a melody in your head, put it down, write it out. But now since you know how to make a beat, you can structure it how you want. And as far as like the artist standpoint, that's a tough one too, because like you said, a lot of like it's not a bad thing, but yeah, there is a lot of artists that sound the same. And I would say there's a certain sound maybe every couple years that dominates. And a lot of songs will have that certain formula to it.
Mm-hmm.
Even with me, if I do a song, like how I'll attack it is you can maybe for artists that's coming up, like maybe pick a beat that's similar to maybe a song that you like, but don't fall into the trap of rapping or maybe even using the exact because that you can always borrow words and lyrics, because I've done that before where you just input different pieces from artists. What's a good way to put it? Just make sure, like, don't lose yourself in the process. Like, say for instance, someone's listening to I haven't listened to the radio in a minute, but it's a hot song out and they like it. They're gonna make a song like it, but maybe it's gonna sound just like that song, like maybe literally, and they're not even thinking about it. They just want to put that song on paper. They're not being themselves on it because the song that's on the radio or is big sounds good. What they're talking about sounds good. But that person that's rapping it may not have lived that certain life or done those certain things. But they're gonna try to match it up. But like, be vulnerable. That's how it was with me too. Like, I have some songs I'll put it very like veiled, so they may not even know. But sometimes I may be talking about an old relationship or an old girl I was with or something. But I may structure. Usually, me, I try to put it a little more slick. Yeah. But like for me, I had to be vulnerable. There was a time when I first started, I never would have thought about doing stuff like that. Like, nah, I ain't gonna rap about that. But like, honestly, I had to draw from where a lot of my experience comes from. And that's something I'll say that helped me define myself too. Like, I know it sounds like it's simple, but I think it kind of is. You just got to trust yourself. Because I mean, of course, when we're starting, any artist is starting, that's the biggest part. They got to trust themselves. Confidence is the biggest thing. Just believing in yourself. And once you do that, you're like, okay, my experiences may help somebody out. Like, you may make a certain song that touches somebody in a certain way. Like, but stuff you may originally been afraid to talk about. So like for me, even when I set the vibe with it, it's always like from something I've done or just an experience I have or a feeling I got from something. That's how I do it too. Like, it's still from me, even if it's just a vibe, it matches a mood I was in or a mood that I was in that I want everybody else to experience. So like when they may not be able to describe it, but they know the song is a vibe, because I put that spin on it. I would say because the thing that helped me, get that supreme confidence in yourself. Like there's a difference between, because I see it too. There's a difference between being overconfident and just confident in your ability. You just know. Yeah, just know as an artist, that's a big thing to me. I hate seeing people put themselves down. Like, I don't care if you just started rapping yesterday. Like, nah, I tell them, if you really know you're gonna be dope, if you really think you're dope, you are gonna be that way.
Yeah.
Like, trust yourself, believe in yourself. Know every song you put out, that even if you aren't where you're at, that was a big thing with anybody starting out. If you're not where you're at right now, just know if you keep working at it, you are gonna be there. You're gonna be that version of yourself that you see in the future. But like literally, and don't let, I guess another big thing too, I mean, which is cliche, but literally don't let anybody, interfere. Don't let any negative talk get your way. Don't let anybody try to, because 9 times out of 10 is because they're intimidated because they're not living their own dreams out, So like, that's how I took it and helped me, because they could say that. Not that actually, I haven't got like a lot of negative, but like even if I did, I'll be like, okay, well, 9 times out of 10, you're just projecting, your insecurities on somebody else.
Right.
I'm living my dream out while I'm doing what I got to do.
Right.
This is what I'm making money on the side, providing for my goal that I'm gonna reach. So like, it's no different from somebody, doing any kind of just any passion they have. But there's music, there's a stereotype with it, because everybody wants to say like, oh, you can't do this or you can't do that, and they end up listening to this person and talking about like, oh, they're good. Like, you got to find out like, okay, when you're serious about it, people are going to take you serious. So that's how I approach it too. Like, as growing up loving just hip hop first, like I love the music, so I always had that foundation. So like, nobody can ever take that away from you. Like I love this music, so I know I put my heart into it. You just got to trust yourself that you're going to get to that point. And it's going to be obstacles. People are going to, you know, try to knock you off, or you may see something that maybe discourages you, you know, but like, I'll say that's the biggest thing with me. Just know, literally just have that. I think I got it from my dad. Just have that iron will. Like, you are going to be where you're at. Just please don't let negative talk get in your way, and just study, learn, and produce, and just put out and record and put out as much as you can. Of course, like, space it out, but it's like exercising. Get the reps in. You gotta keep. Don't give up and take. I mean, we take breaks, but just always have that goal in your head. Never just forget about it entirely. And like, I think you'll definitely get there as long as you do that.
Yeah, for sure, man. Definitely. Like, it's just like there's no like shortcuts. You get better by doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all trial and error. I wanted to go back to what you said earlier, like when you're talking about old producers, and then we were talking about like you brought up old Kanye. Like, yeah, like right now, right now I have a different opinion about him, but like the music, like I said, is timeless. Like, I remember when he and like, you got to give credit where credit's due, and he is one of the best like rapper producers of this modern day and age. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember like growing up, and then just different sounds that he put out that just stuck, and they just hit me in the face. Like, yo, what is this? Like, I remember when like Gold Digger with Jamie Foxx came out. Like, whoa, like he like sampled and just looped Jamie's voice like that, and then with like Good Life with T-Pain, like the and then for a while there was a bunch of people, like bunch of beats that started to try and sound like that. You know what I'm saying? Or what's that song? I'm blanking on the title, but it's with Jamie Foxx and Twista. I had the sample too.
That was my song. That song that's like top 10. Like, that's a classic.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, all respect to him, and he brought Lupe up and all that, like, and then Big Sean them. So you gotta give credit where credit's due, bro. And like, he as like just talking to you and getting into all of like the intricate details of being a producer and a rapper. And then when you brought that up, I had to acknowledge that part of my life where like Kanye was popping. And it was like, you know, people say old Kanye, and like his catalog was just, you don't know what you're gonna get. So it's like, you gotta get, and I'm sure he inspired a bunch of producers, you know, like, and artists as well, just in general, just to like go left. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay, try it out. It'll be different. It might not be what's hot right now, but it might get hot because it's not the same. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely agree with everything you just said, bro. Hey man, I don't want to keep you too long. Before I let you go, I just want to ask, like, let people know like what you have coming out, what's out, or what they can look forward to, where to find you, and all that. And yeah.
All right. So you can find me on SoundCloud, Apple, Spotify, iTunes, all under WavyJa. So I think you might have to type it in all caps, and then the S will be the $. And right now, what I'm working on, I know right now I'm pushing out singles. And like I told you earlier, now I made some space so I can get some collabs done. So we're gonna get some work in. I'm gonna shoot some beats too.
Yeah, definitely. I'm all for it, bro.
Hey, I'm all about it, man. Like,
send it this way, dog.
Man, get that email ready.
I'm ready, bro.
Yeah, so yeah, I've been I'm working. I kind of I wanted to do. I'm gonna do a project before the year ends. I don't know if it's gonna be an EP or an album, but I definitely, that's something I've been working on actually, maybe since a couple months ago. And there's some certain things I haven't decided to take like some time away. But like, yeah, I'm definitely working on, you know, a project that I will have, you know, done at least by the end of the year. I don't have an exact date on it yet. And as far as, you know, videos and things like that, I'm gonna have some certain things rolling out. Nice. And yeah. So there's a lot I'm working on. I am listening to a lot of my unreleased music too. So I may, you know, put another single out. Oh, what are you about to say?
No, yeah, all your links, I'll throw it all in the description, bro. I got you, man.
Yeah. I think on find you. yeah, and the Twitter, West J808. So you can find me on Twitter too. Instagram, I believe it's WavyJason1, WVYJASON1. And yeah, just stay tuned. I always post music or even just news about me posting a new song first on like IG. So probably on my IG story or on my actual feed. And then after that, I'll post it everywhere else. But yeah, just follow all those, stay tuned, because yeah, I got a lot of dope stuff coming. So yeah, just tune in.
And before the end of the year, we gotta get it in, bro. Like
Oh,
it's
definitely.
way overdue. Like we're so different now than where we were at. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's gonna be.
Yeah.
I'm excited. And plus too, like let's do something that you made. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's gonna be
that'd be
dope.
dope.
Yeah.
That'd be dope. Yeah, for sure, man.
I'm with it. We gonna kill him. We gonna kill him. I'm
Hey,
telling
my
you.
brother, thank you so much for giving me the time, bro, for taking the time out to do this, man. I appreciate you. Next time you're back at home in Hawaii, we'll chop it up. You stay safe up there in Texas. You stay healthy. Love and prayers to the fam, to you. Thank you, bro. I'll let you know when this is out. I'll link everybody to
Yeah.
your music below. And just
Yeah.
thank you, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Dang, I appreciate it. You stay safe out there
Nah, for
too,
sure,
man.
man. Thank you, man.
All right,
Easy.
bet. Link up.